So let's talk about the dating industry. So let's talk about Connect Dating and kind of why we got into this industry. So first and foremost, the online dating industry, it's a massive, massive global platform. It's right now about an $8 billion industry and is growing to about 14 billion. They're actually saying it's going to get to about 30 billion by 2035. So it's definitely growing by leaps and bounds. Now, the top competitors out there, obviously Tinder is owned by the Match Group. Match bought out a bunch of the companies out there. So Tinder is owned by Match. It's got about almost 10 million subscribers, and it's got almost $2 billion in annual revenue. Bumble's got 2.8 million subscribers, do about $1 billion in revenue. Hinge is also owned by the Match Group. They got 1.7 million subscribers, about 550 million in revenue. Plenty of Fish, also owned by Match Group. And Badu is owned by Bumble. So and that's another massive one. So these are kind of the players that we're involved with. Now, the key thing to understand is every single one of these platforms are virtually identical. They're all swipe left, swipe right type of a platform. So, but they're currently that big and very that lucrative. So let's talk a little bit about our competitive advantages. Number one is real identity and safety first. So every single person that joins our platform has to provide verification of identity. We don't allow any fake profiles, no bots, no scams on our platform, which every other platform has plagued with those problems. You know what? Bottom line, if someone doesn't want to provide their identity, that's okay. They don't have to be on our platform because we want to keep our people safe. And that's one of our key marketing strategies is to make sure that everyone is safe and more importantly, verified. Compatibility percentages, same thing. This is something that people don't ever do. But the reality is if you ever looked at the dating site or been on dating sites, you know, if you see a really attractive person, but you see that you're only at 20% compatibility, well, guess what? It's not going to work. Looks fade. We all know that. But at the end of the day, if you match with some, or you see somebody on there and you're like an 80 or 90% compatibility, maybe not exactly what you're interested in when it comes to, you know, looks. But the fact that you've got such a high compatibility, let's be honest, that is long-term something that you want, is something that you're compatible with. And that's very, very exciting for ours. And once again, no one else is doing that. We also have kind of a social network hybrid. We built this out to be a social network. So that way you're not just swiping left or swiping right on people. I've never been on a dating site before. It's very toxic on how it is. You're literally looking at somebody on how attractive they are, and you're swiping left if they're not attractive, swiping right if you think they're attractive. And it's a very kind of a really awkward way of doing it because you have no idea who these people are. In our platform, you actually can get to know who somebody is before you actually start having conversations. You can see, it's almost like Facebook. You can become friends with them. You can see their news feed, kind of see who they are as a person, what they're posting, things like that. So it's a very powerful thing that we believe is going to be very, very big in the near future. No casual dating culture. So once again, too, if someone's looking for a real relationship, they're going to come to our platform. You know, out of the hundreds of millions of people that are on dating sites, apparently 40%, according to statistics, 40% are looking for actual, real, true relationships. Okay, and they're going to be able to find that on our platform because we go through a process to actually find it's not what they call hookup culture, where it's just casual dating. This is something that someone's looking for a real long-term relationship. And of course, a first mover experience or a position here for quality over quantity. Every single dating platform out there is just a very toxic environment. We're the first ones in the marketplace, and I promise we'll probably most likely not be the last ones because they're going to identify and see how big this actually is of looking for quality over quantity. So here's just a quick little synopsis of the other platforms here, kind of how we compare. So once again, mandatory photo identification. We're 100%. It has to be verified through us. Tinder is optional. It's not required for all users. Bumble is optional. And Hinge, there's no universal ID requirement. So they're plagued with problems, plagued with fake profiles, bots, and of course, tons of scams on these platforms. You know, when you match with somebody, you're most likely not even talking to a real person or to somebody who actually has honorable intentions. Second thing is compatibility percentage. Once again, we're 100%. We have compatibility. All the other platforms are no compatibility whatsoever. Social network style interaction. Once again, ours is a very, very strong social media type platform. You can kind of get to know somebody, whereas all the platforms, they don't have those whatsoever. Ours focuses on serious relationships. Now, Tinder is primarily casual, Bumble is mixed casual with some serious, and Hinge claims long-term focus, but Hinge is not much different than Tinder and Bumble when it comes to a dating platform. Ours is 100% solely focused on real long-term relationships. Top of that, no fake profiles and bots. Once again, we have very strict verification, and it's a major common issue with Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and all the platforms out there. Unique positioning, we're safe, reliable, and compatible. It's going to be our niche. Tinder is swipe first and casual. Bumble, the only difference there is women message first kind of branding, and Hinge is designed to be a deleted brand. So bottom line is we have a very unique positioning. There's no one like us in the marketplace whatsoever.